Hello, and welcome back for another episode of Ask Lennon, where you can ask me questions about the writing process, publishing, what it's like to be an editor, what to expect from an editor, and how that writer-editor collaboration works. I answer all of those questions. You can go to my website at www.lennonkhriley.com to submit your questions in the contact box. And that's how I select the questions to answer in these videos. Today's theme is writing tips. A lot of you have questions about the writing process and how to get things done when you're writing. So let's dive into it. My first question I picked for today. Do you ever write in first person? Or is that considered amateurish? Amateurish, not even a little bit. First person POV is extremely difficult, actually, at least for me. The reason why is because when choosing perspectives, each POV either brings you closer or further away from your character. And for emotionally charged scenes or really difficult scenes to write, for me, I like the safety of limited third person POV. So, third person is the most distant you can get from your character. That's more of an omniscient. And then third person limited is sort of the in between of a third person and first person. So I'm still distanced from my character. I am not, let's say, character Emily. I am still me. But if I'm in third person limited, my story is focused on Emily. I may even slip into writing the way Emily would talk or think. That's third person limited. So I have a sense of closeness to my character without actually being them or being in their head. So if there's an emotionally charged moment that I need to protect myself from so I could write the scene and get the story finished, third person limited allows me to do that. With first person, you are in their head. You are that character, at least for the time that you're writing the scene, the chapter, the story. And if it's an event you're not familiar with or can't handle emotionally, that can be really difficult because you have to be in that moment. You have to experience what that character is experiencing. So, first person, I think, is the furthest thing from amateur. It takes a very emotionally strong writer to tackle first person. How in the hell do you get out of your head and just write? I've got 25,000 words written in my first draft of my romance novel, and I know there's a story there, but my writing is mid at best. Help! How do I get out of my head and just write? Ooh, that's a good one. I think that's one of the impossible questions for authors to answer. Sort of like, where do you get your ideas from? The answer is everything, everywhere, and still no real concrete answer at all. To be honest with you, it's really hard to write, even for someone like me who's published 3 novels and finished several. It takes time management, discipline, a really great idea, passion, and maybe a little bit of OCD, this like compulsiveness to get it finished. A lot of writers have different answers to this question. How the hell do you write? And I think to simplify it and to answer the question for you, the answer lies in what is blocking you from writing. And once you figure that out, a solution becomes pretty simple and you can figure out how the hell you get this writing done. If it's a time management issue, if you sit down to write and things just get in the way, blocking off time in your calendar and sharing that with your loved ones to show, like, hey, this time I am busy. Door is locked and closed. I am trying to get writing done and I need space. That may be the solution. If it's a discipline issue, if you struggle to find the motivation to sit down and write and you're reading or watching TV or spending time with people, you don't have the discipline to separate yourself from that stuff to sit down at the computer and write. Perhaps diving into solutions for developing that discipline might be what you need. The solution I can offer for that, because I've had those moments where disciplining myself and putting myself into the chair, button seat, hands on keyboard has been really hard for me. I've committed myself to, okay, I'm just going to set aside 15 minutes. If I can just do 15 minutes, I'll feel like I've accomplished something. And usually that 15 or 20 minutes turns into so much more. Or maybe it's both a discipline and time management issue, in which case a lot of people find setting aside time in the morning before their family gets up is how they're able to get writing done. And it's that discipline of a consistent ritual. Every morning at this time, I'm getting this writing done. Just take a deep dive, do a little soul searching. What is keeping you from writing? And I think once you identify the problem, you'll be able to find that solution or that answer to how the hell do I get any writing done? You can write a great book and still need to learn how to talk about it publicly. That gap really surprises me. Are you comfortable talking about your work out loud? If so, how do you do it? This question is really about how do you do an elevator pitch? When someone asks, what is your book about? That can seem like the hardest question for most writers. For us, the book is about so much. There's layers and also a process. You could ask me when I'm in the middle of drafting, what is your book about? And I'd be like, today it's about just figuring out how the streetcar worked in the 1900s. So it's a complicated question. And you would think it wouldn't be because we're the writers. We're writing the book. Don't we know what the book is about? No. Not in an easy to explain way. For us, the book is about so much. But we don't have hours and hours of time to tell someone what our book is about and answer that question. So we need to develop an elevator pitch, something real quick, like a log line that answers the question when someone wants to know what your book is about and see if they're interested in reading it. And if they want to stay in touch with you and read it when it's released, if it's not out yet. So what I do is in my writing process, I always start out with an idea. I think everyone does. We all have like a seed or something that we found really interesting that we decided, hey, I'd really love to write about that, whether it's in a book or a short story or a poem, whatever. We have this idea, and that's the start of all of this. I take that seed and I turn into a log line. A log line is like what you see on Netflix to describe a movie or a television show. So for me, I use that format to describe what my book is about. And with that log line, I'm able to expand it into a whole summary description, which is the jacket cover description, what goes on the back of a book when you pick up a book in the bookstore and look on the back to see what it's about. All that 2 or 3 paragraph description of the story started with a log line, and that log line can be your elevator pitch. So a good example, my first novel, The Last Heir of Excalibur, It started with the seed of an idea, and the seed was, wouldn't it be cool if fairy tales were a little bit gender reversed, where the girl gets to slay the dragon and kiss the boy awake from a sleeping curse and defeat the evil witch or wizard. And from there, I, you know, outlined, wrote, re-outlined, rewrote the novel. And as the story really formed from just this vague seed of an idea into an actual story and plot, I came up with the log line, which was a young girl pulls the legendary sword Excalibur from the stone and becomes a target for everyone in Camelot who wants its power. And there's your story. You've got the protagonist, the conflict, everyone's trying to kill her, and the big inciting incident that happens in the novel. She pulls the sword from the stone. So you know what the story's about. You know, it's a female King Arthur type of story. You know, it's Camelot, knights, swords and stone magic. And you know that you're going to be following this girl through these adventures and this King Arthur story. And if that sounds like something you like, you pick it up. If it's not your thing, at least you know now, it's not my thing. But you have a good grasp on what the book is about from that quick elevator pitch. I hope these questions and their answers have helped you. If you have any questions for me, go to my website, www.lennonkhriley.com, and send me a message through my contact box. I would love to answer your question the next time I do one of these videos.